We just want to make sure that we're able to pass this along clearly. We will have a question and answer session at the end, so please feel free to type your questions into the questions section of the WebEx, and I will relay those on. And now I would like to take a moment to introduce Rakesh Shah, Made2Manage Product Manager, and Jim Tuttle, Solutions Consultant. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Pamela. This is Rakesh Shah, and would like to welcome you all, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend this session. Really appreciate you being on the call, and hope to give you lots of valuable information that you can take back with you after the session. So along with me is Jim Tuttle, as Pamela mentioned, and he's one of our solution consultants, which most of you might be familiar with. And he's going to show a live demonstration of our capabilities on Shop Floor Manager, as well as the new capabilities for mobility that were introduced, enhancing our Shop Floor mobile application. So we'll run through a demo as well after a brief overview and presentation. Jim, if you can move to the next slide. So real quick, from an agenda perspective, we're just going to walk through a few slides just to talk about some of the challenges, as well as some of the features and benefits that come out of Shop Floor Manager and Shop Floor Manager Mobile. So wanted to walk you through some of those. So from a shop floor challenges perspective, if you look at what are the challenges associated with managing your shop floor operations. A lot of times we hear about, we don't have enough visibility or have lack of visibility on, what exactly is going on in the shop floor. A lot of times, we're curious or inquiry about, what is the status of production on the various jobs? Do you have ability to adjust to, real-time constraints and limitations as they come along as the, operations are underway? And thirdly, one of the other challenges is, a lot of the processes are manual. They are paper-driven, which obviously, as we all know, adds to a lot of costs along the way, and is also error-prone based on how you interpret the information, which is coming up from the paper-driven model. So all in all, there's really a need to consolidate the information and processes required to manage the shop floor. There are obviously two kinds of users on the shop floor, the supervisors and the regular shop floor users, and they both need unique, role-focused tools to, fulfill their job responsibilities. The supervisor or the shop floor supervisor should ideally have a console where he can quickly see the status of, the different job orders, material, and labor. And he should also be able to manage shop floor functions such as issuing material, changing job statuses, and prioritizing work. There's also a need to eliminate the paperwork required to manage operations at the work center level. Shop floor personnel should have their own console where they're able to view all the information they need to work on job orders online. They should also be able to report labor in this paperless environment via desktop with a mouse or touch screen. So from a benefits perspective for Shop Floor Manager, right, what are some of the key ones that are really required are shop floor analysis, production status, material availability, and work order visibility. So, you really want to streamline your business by saving costs and adding a new level of clarity that you can gain from, what are the different operations that are happening on the shop floor. Real-time communication to prioritize the changes that are happening to the shop on the plant floor, and enable full visibility to material issuing, material shortages, quantity completion, analyzing, what are the completed jobs and, how they've completed and stuff like that. And lastly, from a visibility standpoint, eliminate paper by allowing online access to, job information and tracking the information. If you move on to the next slide, Jim. So what are, from a shop floor manager perspective, we have two different consoles, the supervisor console and the work center console. And the shop floor manager is really designed to allow customers to slice and dice their shop floors with ease. Labor and inventory transactions are consolidated in one convenient place to enable the shop floor supervisor and work center operators to more efficiently manage production. Made2Manage shop floor facilitates paperless manufacturing and eliminate the need for work order travelers and material picklers. Communicate electronic work order instructions, priorities, and material lists between supervisor console and the work center console. Some of the other benefits include attaching. If you do one more click, Jim, on the slide, there you go. So you can attach CAD drawings to work orders viewable right on the shop floor and create shop notes which are visible in the Work Center console. So analyzing the shop floor operations and providing information to employees, as I said, has two consoles, supervisor and work center consoles. And the supervisor console is primarily function is to provide shop floor status information at a glance to the supervisor. And the work center console is to provide a prioritized list of jobs and pertinent information for the completion of those jobs to the operators. So let's talk a little bit more about those two specific consoles if you move to the next slide, Jim. So supervisor console, what are some of the things that it supports? You can have users running what-if exercises to view potential impact on material allocation by releasing selected work orders. You can do work order release and material issues, view detailed material availability at work order and component level, view full drill down to component and operation level for all work orders in one click, and accessing the work order component where used feature, which allows users to view every work order in which a component is used. So all in all, you're really looking at easy visibility into all the shop floor related information with real-time data, as well as the new capability that Jim will go through in much more detail and do a demo as well. Is the mobile app that we've added recently, which provides supervisor console access to via tablet devices as well as through a web browser. If you move on to the next slide, Jim, from the other console, the Work Center console, the primary features of that are to provide prioritized list of work ordered and all necessary information to complete your jobs. Manual and automatic work in process receipt function, as well as work order details, which has stuff like materials, operation instructions, work order status, and graphical images by customer, sales order, part number, etc. To the next slide. So next one is the new, not new anymore, I should say, but the enhancement that we made to the shop floor manager from a mobility perspective. If you look at today's environment, the pressure to increase output and improve quality at lower costs has become a very important issue in the manufacturing industry and across the board, actually. And to meet the expectations of the customers, a lot of the manufacturing companies have initiated strategic measures to become competitive and cost sensitive. And mobility is a recent adoption that enables manufacturers to improve their business processes along the way. So with that in mind, we've added this mobility enhancements to the shop floor manager product as well, which provides management with the details in a mobile environment, in a browser environment, in an app environment, so that they can access all the information where they need it, when they need it on their tablet devices. We'll walk through a couple of details about those, features of Shop Floor Manager Mobile. If you move on to the next slide, Jim. So some of the key ones are, state-of-the-art graphical visibility of shop floor data. You can have a consolidation of your labor and inventory transactions in one convenient place. Accessibility of information whenever, wherever, irrespective of whether you are on the shop floor or in your office or at home. Exploration of data and drawing of insights, as well as quick decisions with immediate impact and results. So the Work Center screen allows you to effectively manage the loads on your work centers to maximize production and to meet schedule demand. The other screen is the job order screen, which allows you to track all the job orders. The sales order screen allows you to track all the sales orders, and the inventory screen allows you to track movement of materials between inventory or storage locations and the shop floor. Some of the key benefits from a mobility standpoint, or the Aptean Shop Floor Manager Mobile, are three key things. One is enhanced visibility, better control, and fast action. From a visibility standpoint, mobility enables employees on the shop floor to work faster and more efficiently, increasing the productivity of the plant. Now, your supervisors can view the information on tablet devices without having to leave the shop floor to locate a desktop computer or to look for the information that they need. Having instantaneous mobile access reduces the lead times and speeds up the processes, much faster decision making, and enables faster time to market implementation. From an inventory standpoint, you have better control over, if you have multiple locations spread out in different places and a high number of employees in remote location, this makes it challenging to monitor the volume of parts, suppliers, warehouses, and logistics services that have to be synchronized. Implementing mobile technology can ensure operations flow smoothly, and you can reduce the inventory cost for the company. And from an action standpoint, you get full details about what is going on at each of the work centers and the various job orders, so you can effectively manage the workloads by work center and employees. Real quick about some of the features that are inherent in the mobility enhancement, mobility extension that we provided for Shop Floor Manager. It supports all the popular mobile technology operating systems, supports iOS and Android mobile operating systems primarily. It is modern and consistent user interface across both your browser as well as mobile devices. So you don't have the learning curve is significantly less, if any. It is secure platform, so it supports SSL over HTTP to provide data privacy and server authentication to make sure you have the right authentication in place to log onto your servers. And I guess the most important one is the holistic data overview, right? So you get complete data access to your ERP data, and real-time interaction with the data enables quick analysis and decision-making, including sales, job, and inventory and costs associated with your shop floor. Just from a prereq standpoint, the Shop Floor Manager Mobile is designed to work with Made2Manage version 7.0 or higher. These are the other operating system requirements as well as the process and memory requirements. I wanted to highlight those out to you on the slide. I'm not going to read through those, but I'll keep that out for a second or two for you to read through it. And with that, I'd like to turn the mic over to Jim, and Jim will run through a demo of the Shop Floor Manager component, and then dive into the Shop Floor Manager mobile component as well. So with that, Jim, please take it away.
Very good. Thank you, Rakesh, and good afternoon, everyone. Rakesh, can you hear me okay, and can you see my Shop Floor Manager screen all right?
Yes, I can.
All right, very good. So we'll talk about the sort of three prongs that Rakesh has mentioned and discussed. Start with the supervisor console. So Shop Floor Manager itself is a PC-based tool. So you do install Shop Floor Manager on PCs. We put them throughout the plant. And it gives, the supervisor gives, as Rakesh said, a very good overview for your supervisors, lead people, to be able to go in and see things by work center, by job order, by employee number if that's what they want, to release job orders, and even to analyze historically and see how well our routings are stacked up against what we're doing on the floor. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes to go through each of these and sort of show you what these tools are for. So across the top you can see the buttons that I was sort of toggling to get to those different views. On the work center view, we can let the supervisors sort of view a list of all work centers, or narrow it down to work centers that are important just for their work. You'll see a lot of color information in Shop Floor Manager. This is to bring attention to certain areas and to take, help make that actionable information very easy for you to find. So the supervisor can view sort of at a glance which work centers might be in trouble for late jobs, which work centers might have material shortages. When they highlight a specific work center, the bottom half of the screen then shows the work orders or job orders that are released to that work center on the floor. The colors mean different things. Green tells me that someone's physically clocked into that job currently. Red on dates means it's late for me. And then different material shortages get different colors as well. And a supervisor can click on a specific job, right-click, and drill into a variety of detail about that. So if they click on job detail, they can see, in this case, it's a make-to-order job. We can see who the customer is. We can see, the operations and how far it's progressed through those operations. We can see the operation descriptions coming from the routing. And if a supervisor has rights, they can edit the operation description notes or even change the work center on the fly. So again, saving them those steps from going back into the office to do that. We can do that straight from Shop Floor Manager. I don't have to log into Made2Manage. I can use maybe the desktop that I'm out on the floor on currently. I also can view the bill of materials. So what components are needed. Again, color coding brings things to the screen. In my case, purple is a buy item, so I know that it says there's no PO, so I don't have a purchase order available for that. But I can look and see, are there other purchase orders, and I might be able to take one from another job and utilize it if I need to. Yellow in my case means it's a stock part, and so I can right-click and very quickly have the material availability report to show where else, as Rakesh said, this part's being used or needed. And it gives me a very quick glance to see what's on hand, what's in inspection, and where I'm in fact going to go negative, which happens to be on the job that I'm looking at. So it gives me that ability to see that information. And if in fact one of these were a supply job, I could right-click and drill down into that job from here as well. So some really great availability to see what's needed, where are we at with those, and sort of what's the status. I also can view, as Rakesh said, any documentation. So if I've got CAD drawings or setup instructions or images or pictures, whatever I'd like to have available for the user to view from here, and then a spot to throw in a note. And we'll throw in something here so that you can see the difference. And this note gets transferred directly to the users out on the floor. It also gets stored against the job order in the user-defined memo field so that we've got access to it later on if we'd like to. So a great view. They can access multiple other views from within that same area. So just by doing a right-click, they can see job order status, which is the JO stat screen typically found in Made2Manage. They can view and access and do transactions against the job order material issue screen, the very same one that's typically in Made2Manage. And they're not taking a license to do that from here, so a real added benefit. They can also assign lot and serial numbers and view anything that's been attached to that through the job order attachment screen. So a lot of great capabilities just from that one view. If I toggle over, I can also look at things sort of by job order. So instead of being restricted to the work centers, now I'm looking at all job orders. I can filter this by status of job order. I can filter or sort or group by any of the headings at top. And so, for example, maybe we're going to have a meeting with company air applications. I'd like to see the status of all their job orders. Instead of searching them out individually, I've got them all pulled together. And now at this point, I have the ability to right-click and drill into all the same things that I did on the previous screen. So just a great way to really slice and dice. I have an ability to not just view these on screen. If I'd like to export them to Excel, I can do so. If I'd like to filter this, I can do that as well. And on all the screens in Shop Floor Manager, one of the great features that people appreciate is the ability to select the columns that will be placed on the screen, as well as the position and size of those columns. So if you're a make-to-stock manufacturer and you don't need the company column in here or the sales order number, it's just a matter of unchecking it and it's removed from the view. So very tailorable to your company's needs and applications. Third tab, employee status, great thing. Shows me which of my employees are at work and which job they're working on. So if I want to know if somebody's here, I can find them. I also can look up a specific job order and see who's working on that, so that if I'm trying to track a job down, I can physically see that directly from here without having to walk through the floor. So again, trying to save you some steps. Job order release, as Rakesh mentioned, an ability to view what needs to be released to the floor. So I've got an ability to use the JORELF screen in Made2Manage. It will already let me release multiple jobs at a time. The great thing here is I could filter this by product class or by group code, or I could still do it by date, which probably makes sense for most everyone. But while I'm doing that, I can automatically check the material status. So I'm ready as a shop floor supervisor employee to make the decision that, yes, these are late, I've got material I'm going to release. And when I get down to the one that I'm short on, I can just simply select that line and run the material availability, see which components I do have, which one I'm short, and then expand down to the details to see the status of that. So again, a time saver for the employees to make those great decisions without having to run a separate report. It's all right within one tool that they're using. As we run against time, we're going to gather information about how the times are actually accumulating against job orders and specific operations. And so one of the things that customers asked for in a later release of Shop Floor Manager was something we've added called Production Analyzer. This allows me to review routings, see what the stated routings are, what the standard times are, and then review the actual times as they've came in and compare those to the standard. And the system will take these numbers, the production time, roll them up and average them and give me the new recommended routing time, which I can either take as it is or make adjustments to. So if there's something that maybe looks like this line is an outlier, I can actually take that out of the loop and let it recalculate. So a great way, this used to be a very manual process, run reports, then manually go and update the routings. This can be simply clicked and sent back into Made2Manage based upon the rights that you have. It can also be used as a master replace. So if you're going to change a work center time based on maybe some new machinery or equipment that you've got, you can go in and select a certain range of part numbers by product class, group code, work center, and do a mass update on those as well. So some very nice functionality to utilize from that supervisory console. It will allow access to planning and scheduling, and so the folks that are using the M2M planning and scheduling tool from the supervisor console, you can actually open that up and work from within that window as well. So some really great views from that supervisory console. On the production floor side, we need to give that same information to the folks that are out on the floor, and so that's what the Work Center console is used for. A great information. So we're looking here at a very specific work center. So if I toggle at the top, I can switch between, for say, an assembly work center, or I can look at a drill or my material work center. And as Rakesh said, a twofold process here. We're giving the employees on the floor their prioritized list of job orders. So we're giving them a list in priority order. And so this allows me to kind of tell them what I'd like them to do, and then it gives them the ability to feed me back the information that I'm requiring from them. Typical day for an employee, they come in the morning, the first thing they do is they walk up to a terminal and they click the clock in button, and they can either key in on the keyboard an employee number. We support the use of a wedge scanner to scan a badge and put that number in the field as well, or these can all be touch screen. So if you want to put touch screens on the floor, we can do that also. This allows them to review, yes, that's me, clock in, and now they're ready to work. They pick the work center they're going to work in, they select the job that they're going to work on, and we've given them much of the documentation that's on the traveler. So as Rakesh said, we're really trying to help move away from the paperwork. I've got the job order number, I've got the prior ops, I've got where it's going to go when I'm done with it, I've got the quantity that I'm supposed to do, the time that it should take me, and the part number and description information, as well as the job order memos, the operation descriptions, and even the note that the supervisor had put in. So in this case, you can see it's blue. That stays blue until I let the supervisor know that I've read it. So when I click the memo read, it updates them. And so we also give the users on the floor an ability to put notes in against the operation notes on this job order, and we allow them to write notes against the job order level shop notes as well, so that you've got some two-way communication, not just one direction. Over in the top right corner, they can also open any of the documents that the supervisors did. So if they want to open the drawings or images or setup instructions, whatever available, easy for them to access right from their terminal on the floor. When they're ready, they select the job that they're going to work on. They click the clock on job, and the system then prompts them for their employee number. They tell it whether they're doing regular, serial, or parallel labor, and they clock in. Very straightforward. When they're done, they might be on that job for 2 minutes or 6 hours. They walk back to a terminal and say, I'm ready to clock off, and they just tell the computer who they are. It remembers which job or jobs they were clocked into and reminds them of how many they're supposed to do, and they give us feedback on the quantity that they've completed, the quantity that they've scrapped, and they then clock out. So pretty straightforward for them. it gives them an ability to give us the information we need to make sure that we're following through with the production plan. A couple of other nice flows that I think you'll find that we really don't support anywhere else are the team capabilities. So in one situation, we might have individuals working on a job, but when I come to a lot of your companies, you have areas, maybe assembly areas or paint areas or other areas where multiple people are working together in a specific operation of a job order. And we support that by doing team labor. So as an employee, I can come in and say, yes, I am Pepper Bandana, but I'm going to join the assembly team or the paint team, and you can create as many teams as you want. One of those employees clocks on as the leader of that team. The other 3 or 4 or 5 employees just join the team, and the leader takes our entire team on and off job orders throughout the day. So anywhere you've got shared labor going on, another great time saver. Also saves a lot of confusion, that thing that happens where multiple people trying to report quantities and we get confusion. We let the team leader do that. I still, if I go look at the labor entries in Made2Manage, it still looks like I, as just a normal team member, clocked on and clocked off the job, but I did not have to do that transaction. So that's a great benefit for many customers. I also can, issue materials to the job. So I showed you I can do a job order issue, but for the folks on the floor, we give them a little more straightforward screen. Instead of issuing a lot of components at once, they actually have to pick the component. So if I go to a job that has multiples, each component's listed. They will select the location, bin, and even lot number if required, give me the quantity, and issue that item, one item at a time. Saves confusion. Much easier for them to utilize. They also can issue, if you want to, you can turn on an ability to issue things straight out of the item master that were not on the bill of material. So miscellaneous issues are supported as well. Obviously, all of these are controlled with rights within the system. So that's the shop floor manager tool. Great tool. 2 separate screens, as Rakesh said, for the 2 different use cases, and readily and easily available to bolt onto your Made2Manage product today. So for the shop floor manager mobile.
Hey Jim, can you hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rakesh.
Yeah, before you go on to the mobile demo, I think there are a couple of questions might be worthwhile to answer them before you get on to the mobile. So,
that's fine.
One of the questions was, how does parallel get entered?
How does parallel get entered?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the clock on, clock off, again, when I go to clock on a job, I just choose the setting that I want to make. So instead of clicking regular or serial or parallel, I select the choice. So for example, if I pick serial, it's going to, I'm going to select the job. I'm going to select the next job, and it's warning me here that somebody's already clocked onto that one, so we'll pass on that one. We'll do the next one. And I can pick multiple jobs that I clock on. When I'm done, I just click last, and that works the same way for parallel. So just different entry screens. One of the beauties of this over barcode, if you're using barcode today, is that when you clock off, I like the method because it actually shows the job orders that you're clocked onto, and it sort of forces you to go through the loop with them. So it's a easier method, I think, to utilize than the barcode is today. Good question.
Okay. A couple of other questions. Is there a way to share work center process % complete with clients without sharing sensitive company data?
At this point, we've got you can see the percentage of quantity complete, but what we have in Shop Floor Manager isn't really customizable. So the screens that we have are what you're going to see. If you've got something that you need specifically around that, contact your account manager, and we can have a little further discussion on that.
Okay, great. And I think there's one more question on the support for Windows Mobile and Surface Pro. Currently, it's as I mentioned on the chat room, it's supported with iOS and Android-based tablets. We are looking at Windows Mobile, but don't have it right now. So we can keep you updated, when we have a chance to update it for Windows Mobile devices.
Okay.
Just one more question, Jim. So you do not need the barcode software.
Barcode software is not required. The barcode posting is still utilized to send the transactions in, but I do not need, or barcode is not required to make that happen for Shop Floor Manager. Any other questions, Rakesh?
No, I think that's primarily it so far.
Okay, very good. I'm going to go ahead and switch, and I've shared my my desktop here. So I'm going to put this up to kind of clean up a little of the clutter on the background. I'm actually going to show you a little bit of Shop Floor Manager Mobile directly from my iPad, and I'm sharing that through the use of a tool called Reflector. Rakesh, are you able to see my my iPad fine?
Yes, I can.
Okay, very good. So as Rakesh showed you some screenshots, Shop Floor Manager Mobile is just a great extension to the Shop Floor Manager Supervisor Console. So currently we're not supporting transactions, but a lot of the great views and information that you can see within Shop Floor Manager's Supervisor Console, you can now carry with you on the floor. And so sort of 4 main bullets across the Shop Floor Manager console. I can look at things sort of grouped by work center. Just by clicking on the kind of the circles or the donuts at the top, I can look at things by job order, by sales order, or I can look at inventory information. As I click in one of those circles, there's also a little further sorting or filtering capability. So I've got 34 total work centers, but if I click in the circle, I can actually see that I've got 16 that have work against them, 18 that do not. And I can also specifically pick a work center, so I'll show you how you can search by work center as well. But in this case, I'm looking at the work centers that you know, have some backlog. And you'll notice at the top, the assembly work center shows that I have 10 jobs in backlog. I also have a material shortage. So again, we're doing a highlight to show you where we have problems. If I select that work center, much like in Shop Floor Manager, you'll notice that it brings the information to the front that I have several jobs over to the right. So any job that has a red asterisk under materials means that I have a shortage of materials for that particular job order. We've also made it very easy, I think, for you to move around within the system just by doing clicks. So if I click on job 35 at the right side where that material shortage button is, it will open that job order and actually take me to the area where I have the shortage. So even though there's multiple detail information screens on the job order, based on where I clicked in the link, it took me to the spot that I wanted to see. And so in this case, I can see I've got you know, 4 components that are needed for the job. 2 of them are short at this point. And if I want, I can simply click on the check button on one of those shortages, and now it will link me into the inventory screen for that particular part. So it's much like doing a material availability look. Shows me what I have on hand, what's coming in on purchase orders if there are any, or job orders. And job order DBOM means that that's a component that's used on a job order. So a great way for me to see and view those inventory shortages and take an action very quickly to decide how we're going to get around that problem. If I go back to the Work Center screen and I simply click on that same job but at the left edge, it now takes me just into the production area of that job order. So you can sort of see the screen at the top. I can see which job it is, part number, description. Because we're in the production area, it's showing me I came in from the assembly area, so it took me right to the Operation 30 assembly. We've not begun work there. I can see that very quickly. I can go back to the material staging area and see that the 20 have been completed there. I can see the estimated and actual hours from here. I can see that somebody has completed work, and I can physically click in and see the detailed labor instruction or information coming from the LA detail area of M2M. So a great way to get to that type of information. Again, if I just select that job, there's more information. So if I move just above the production area, you can sort of see some little wings up there. And if I select the one on time, it brings me information about the release dates, open dates, completed and closed dates, and actual hours versus estimated hours. The labor is all there. We've already looked at production, but if I open the wing on materials, we'd looked at that before as well. It shows me all the materials that are there, how many of those have been issued. And the last wing down at the bottom is for cost. And so based upon your rights, you can get into some of these and maybe not others, just based with standard controls like we do in Made2Manage. In this case, I can see the total cost. I can toggle through and see labor, overhead, and setup. Personally, I like to click the cost information tab down in the bottom, and it kind of brings the information just like the JO stat screen does. Labor, overhead, materials all broken down in comparison to what the job order and sales order estimates were. So a great view to allow you to get into a lot of information that typically a supervisor or a lead person is going to be going to the shop, leaving the shop to go to their computer to drill to get to that level of information. From a job order circle, I'm not going to go through this one in much detail because it's the same job order information. But here I'm looking at job orders, and I can focus on late job orders, orders that are on hold, orders that are open. So it gives me an ability to find those as well as late. And at any point up in the top right corner, there's a magnifying glass, and that allows me to search either a global search on job order, sales order, an inventory part number, or a work center. So I can get to any one of those by clicking in that search window at any point. So just a nice, easy, intuitive method to find information. One of the other work, cases, I guess, that we were looking to try and solve is potentially a salesperson who is out on the road. So this is a little more information than is actually in Shop Floor Manager. At this point, I can now look at my sales orders, and you can see I toggle through between late orders, orders are on hold, orders awaiting approval. But specifically, if a salesperson is going on the road, maybe to see a customer, I can begin to type in some information. So I might put in the customer name, for example, part of their name. And once I've done so, I can do a search on that, and it will bring me up all of their sales orders. And I can search by sales order number, customer PO number, any of those capabilities. Once I've selected the order that I want to see the details on, this sort of mimics the sales order status screen, SO Stat. So here I can see multiple releases available on this sales order. Each one of them is a line item. And you can see that release 1 shows, that it's been shipped. There's a ship date, and there's an icon clear to the right showing, a little truck. And if I click in that area of the line, it brings me to the shipment information. So I now can see which shipper number it was on. I've got access to the tracking information, and all that is available to me just by simply making that one click. If I don't need to see the shipment information but would like to see the line item information, I just click to the left area of the line, and now it brings me to, what part number are we selling, how many, pricing information, salesperson information, and even from here up in the top right corner, there's a link to go to the job order, so I can drill down and see the job order details. So my salesperson on their tablet, anywhere that they've got an internet connection, can view details about the sales order status, the job order status, and the shipment status, without ever having to hook up a PC and get into the system. So I think that's going to be very powerful. You'll notice I also can click up in the top left corner and get a menu, so I have an ability to drill into specific areas. I can bring myself back to the home screen from there. So it sort of depends upon how you like to get around. We've given you a couple methods to do so. Inventory, we looked at briefly, but just to show you, we've got some nice ability to see negative on hands, things that are below safety stock. So again, items that typically should be researched or looked into. And on any certain item, I can select the item, and it will drill me to, sort of the material availability view again. What do I have on hand? What's available? What do I have for orders either coming in or going out? So you can see down in the supply and demand, JO BOM means this is being consumed on a job. A JO means that it's a supply. And if I wanted to see the status of that particular job to know when I could expect it, I can hyperlink to get to that. Great view to show me that there's 2 operations needed on production of this. We put 0 time against it. We've completed 0 of 100. And seeing that there's 4 shortages on material, I probably better not expect this very quickly. So I think that the point here is that we've given a lot of the great information that was already residing within Shop Floor Manager, we've just made it in a mobile tablet form and made it very easy for users to access and get into. So with that, I'm going to close this down, and we'll come back to here and just finish up with any further questions. So Rakesh or Pamela, anything in the chat? I can't see it at this point.
We actually have lots of questions in the chat.
Okay.
And we have several from Jay Hodges. Would you just like to ask your questions? I can actually unmute. It looks like it was a series of questions. When will we be able to process transactions?
Rakesh, I'll let you talk to that one. Oh, I bet he's on mute.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So we are in the process of taking a look at all the different use cases that we can take this to the next level. Processing transactions is obviously one of those. So we are taking a deeper look at what we have currently and what are the gaps. So I don't have a timeline of when we will be able to provide you with that functionality, but rest assured that we are actively looking at what are the additional enhancements that we can make for it to be even better in your shop floor environment.
Okay. I have asked him if he would like for me to take him off the mute so that he can ask the questions. I'm going to go ahead and do that. You are off mute, Jay Hodges. So if you would like to ask your series of questions, please feel free. I've taken him off mute, but I bet he's on mute on his end. So let's continue. I have other questions. It looks like, is there, we covered that one, sorry. Is the Made2Manage 7.0 or higher required only for Shop Floor Manager Mobile or for the desktop version of Shop Floor Manager also?
No, that's primarily for the mobile piece. I think the Shop Floor Manager, correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, but that will work with 601 as well.
Yep. Great question. Shop Floor Manager actually works with quite a number of older versions of Made2Manage, but Shop Floor Manager Mobile only works against 7.0 Made2Manage and above. Yes, good question.
Okay. And let's see. Our owner has a vision of getting everyone access to the system and be able to pull up Shop Floor Manager, all the job packets, attachments, and perhaps even a picture of what they need to work on. We were thinking of using tablets, using the camera as a barcode reader for the barcode poster, and have the tablets mounted on a movable arm. Do you think that's something that they would be able to do?
Okay. I'm looking through that question again. So today, Shop Floor Manager can be, ran on some sort of Windows device, and it has the ability to, pull up documents. So we have, as I showed you in Shop Floor Manager itself, you could view things, they can do transactions. You can be running that on any sort of Windows operating system, and that can be mounted on a bar that you've got out in the floor. Currently, Shop Floor Manager Mobile does not allow to pull up quite all of that documentation. It's great at getting the job order information, quantities complete, but not currently the attachments. So at this point, there's no transactions that can be done with it. It's strictly a viewing tool.
Hey, Pamela, before we go on to the next question, I had a correction to a statement that I made earlier about Windows support. I misstated that it is something that it's not supported as of today, but we're looking into it. I'm pleasantly surprised. I was just pinged by one of my key developers that did go through, and that app should be available on the Windows Store. So we do support Windows tablets as well as of today. I apologize for misstating on that.
Thank you, Rakesh. All right, let's see. When you say this is an extension of the supervisor console, does this mean that you cannot have someone clocking in and out of jobs? For example, can you have a service people reporting time while outside of the office?
Good question.
Can you have service people reporting? There you go.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. So good question. As we've said, Shop Floor Manager, right? The PC-based tool allows you to clock in and clock out. Shop Floor Manager Mobile does not allow those transactions yet. So at this point, you could have service people doing this, but they would need a seat of Shop Floor Manager and running on a VPN probably to connect to your business. But the Shop Floor Manager mobile tablet is displaying information but not allowing you to actually process transactions in its current version. I see another question about Work Center screen. Does the Work Center screen show you just the jobs currently at that Work Center or all jobs in the system that will be coming through that Work Center? There's actually two choices. It's all jobs that have been completed and are ready for that operation. That's one way to view it. Or any jobs that are on their way. So there's a filter that you can apply to see jobs that have been completed at previous operations only and show those. That would be in Shop Floor Manager. Okay.
Jim, I think there was one more question just about that one. Might have missed one. Is there an update to the app? I do not have information coming into some of the areas. Example, sales order status, nothing in the search area coming up. Might want to open a ticket with support. I'm not sure why you're not getting that.
Yeah, they should be, if you're putting in sales order, either a sales order number. In that box there, it will tell you what you can search on, but sales order number, purchase order number, customer name, those should all be searchable. So if you're not getting anything there, I would certainly log a ticket. Here's a question that asks, I might have missed it, but is there a job order queue feature in Shop Floor Manager? I guess if I'm reading the question, you're looking for something that would tell me jobs that I need to create. That would not be in Shop Floor Manager. So we'd be expecting you to create the jobs either in the job order queue in Made2Manage or in planning and scheduling. Shop Floor Manager is more to take action on the jobs. There's a question asking if we support Bluetooth barcode scanners and in Shop Floor Manager, and obviously, as we've said at this point, there's no transactions, so there's nothing to scan in Shop Floor Manager Mobile yet. So we wouldn't have any support for anything like that at this point. And another one along those lines, is there a Work Center log feature to record run times, quantities produced? Again, we would have you doing that in Shop Floor Manager, but not in Shop Floor Manager Mobile. Another question, does Shop Floor Manager get its order sequence from scheduling? This one's from Paul. Paul, the answer to that is if you are not running scheduling, the sequence is decided by the due date on the job orders. If you are running one of Made2Manage scheduling tools, it will be sequenced by the scheduling that's been done. Those are the extent of the questions that I see, unless I've missed one.
Here's one. Can the job on job off screen be modified to only allow entries for operator ID, units completed, and scrap, just to simplify the screen for operators?
Yeah, so this is referring to shop floor manager. And at this point, there are some of the functions that you can take away. But if I'm going to allow labor, the method that we have set up today, the buttons and the access is going to remain the same. In other words, there's no tailorization of that screen in the current version. Might be something we would look at in the future.
And that completes all the questions that we have, Jim.
Okay. Well, with that, thank you very much. I will go ahead and go on mute. Rakesh, I'll let you or Pamela finish up.
No, sounds good. Thank you so much, Jim, and thank you so much to all the attendees. Really appreciate you taking the time to be on this webinar. Hopefully this was informative and helpful. As always, please feel free to reach out to your account executive for any further information, or if you need any more clarification, we'd be more than happy to assist you in that regard. With that, thank you so much. Back to you, Pamela, if you have any other closing statements.
No, I do not. Thank you all for attending. I will be sending out the recording of this session in the next couple of days. And if you have any questions, again, refer to your account executives, and they'd be more than happy to help you. Thanks again, and have a great day.